What do I do? I mean, there's been a lot that we've talked about, a lot that you've read, a lot that you've wrestled with, and perhaps you've come to a greater understanding that the gospel really does need to be central in your life, that the finished work of Christ really needs to be what drives you. And so the natural tendency for all of us is to say, okay, now tell us how to do that. I find myself doing that all the time. And what that reveals is that I still need to get the gospel down deeper into my bones, because even that question itself demonstrates that I'm thinking more about what I need to do instead of what Christ has already done. So much of our Christian life is spent thinking about ourselves. And we think about it in terms of spiritual progress. We think about it in terms of spiritual maturity, how we're doing, perhaps feeling guilty about what we're not doing. And as a result, we become spiritual navel-gazers. We become Christian narcissists who are obsessed with how we're doing and who we are and our obedience or lack thereof, our performance or lack thereof. And at the end of the day, we've spent much more time thinking about what we need to do or what we've done instead of what Christ has accomplished on our behalf. And so when the Apostle Paul talks about Christian growth, he talks about it in terms of washing our hands of ourselves, fixing our eyes on Christ, the author and finisher of our faith, thinking about him. I often reflect on that story where Jesus is making his way out to his disciples at night, walking on water, and his disciples are in the boat, and Jesus summons Peter to him. And Peter, who's never walked on water before, gets out of the boat and he starts walking on water toward Jesus, and he's doing just fine as long as he's focusing his attention on Jesus. But when he takes his eyes off of Jesus and begins to look down at his own performance, it's then that he starts to sink. And so we begin to grow and we begin to be free and we begin to get this gospel down into the fabric of our being as we come to a greater realization that it's not about us and how we're doing. It's about Jesus and what he's done. And so pray and ask God to help you wash your hands of you. Ask him to give you the humility you need to think more about Jesus and less about you.